So with the release of Phoebe, I found just the right time to release a video just talking about her and kind of go over my thought process of why I think she's a really beginner-friendly character. Disclaimer, this is not a guide. This is a very opinion-based video where I just go over my thoughts on Phoebe, what I think about her as a character, and what I think she represents for the future of Wuthering Waves. So, I just want to preface a few things. If you guys have not seen before, Phoebe is a Spectral Rectifier that scales off basic attack and the new mechanic Spectral Frazzle. If you are not aware, the new Spectral Frazzle set gives 20% crit rate to anyone that deals damage to enemies afflicted by Spectral Frazzle. Um, 20% crit rate is a lot. So, let's say you get Phoebe and her signature weapon, right? So with the signature asset and baseline crit rate, she'll be at 61. And if you run a forecast echo with crit rate, she'll be at 83. And 83 crit rate is a lot of crit for baseline. That means you only need 17 crit rate in your substats. And that basically means all your substats needs are low rolls on 4 pieces. And you hit 100% crit rate. And that's absurd. That's insane. That's crazy. That's like the most free to play friendly thing I've ever heard of. Like I've never seen anything this easy before. You hit 4 low rolls and you hit the cap. And all you need to do is run this set, pull the weapon. It's like it's insane. It's insane. It's absurd. It's a really healthy character design in my opinion, especially for early on, because from what I see, Phoebe's not like insanely strong. She's like really up there with the top with our current DPSs, which is good. It's good. She doesn't power creep anyone, and I think it's good that she's just in line with everyone else. Speaking of the early game, when you're very limited in pulls and characters, it's kind of nice to where you can just be like, oh, I need a Phoebe team. Okay, I'll just run Baiji, Spectra Rover, and Phoebe. Oh wow, you already have a competent team. Like if you have Arena, you have Arena, but like the fact that you're able to just run um 2 starting characters and then 1 limited character, and you already have a really competent, strong team, kind of plays to the strength of Phoebe, not only as a good character for late game, but as a good character for early game as well. And her ease of build plays to this to where you don't need to farm as hard for echo stats, because a lot of the echo farming just get double crit and everything, and then you can min-max from there. But Phoebe literally just says, just look for crit damage and then you're fine, which is, in my opinion, really nice and lessens a lot of difficulties that comes with the daily echo farming of Wuthering Waves. One issue I'd like to note, which is kind of an issue with Phoebe, is that her best support, Spectre Rover, is sequence locked in a sense. Not in the sense that she only really gets good with sequences. I think she works fine without, but in my personal opinion, you do want the S6. X6 is really good, and all her other cons does make Spectral Rover feel less clunky, and I think overall just fixes most of Spectral Rover's problems. That being said, Spectral's Rover sequences being exploration locked is kind of a downside, especially early on. Not being able to have full access to the kit is quite annoying. However, I wouldn't recommend rushing towards it because when you're early on, you don't really care about the damage that much, and it's not the end of the world. You can still play them just fine. You just have a bit of like issues here and there with like concerto generation, energy generation, and like damage, but it doesn't really matter when you're just starting off or you're just playing casually. And one final point, she can fly. She can fly. She can fly. Like, oh, I'm gonna say, flying is cool. Okay, flying is really cool, and you should like flying as well. Like I wish I could fly. I wish I was a bird. So that's my thoughts on Phoebe. And I like how she has a really high baseline crit, especially with her Sig. And I like how she's really simple to build compared to other characters. Makes her very beginner friendly. It makes her very simple to play compared to everyone else.